Bigfoot Society would like to thank the following sponsors for helping make the podcast possible. The Singular Fortean Society has combined open and honest paranormal investigation and journalism since 2016. Visit the Society at Singular Fortean for all the latest weird news and more. Come with us and investigate the impossible. Lauren Smith is the hostess for Nightcaller's Bigfoot Radio, which has been on air for over a decade and has completed over 300 shows. Lauren brings with her a unique viewpoint given that she is not only the daughter of one of the veteran female Bigfoot researchers in the South, but she has been conducting field research since she was a preteen some 20 years ago. Nightcallers is a Bigfoot world favorite and, along with interviewing researchers and witnesses, often features interviews with guests from the documentary, film, and entertainment industry. Lauren also does a vidcast segment called Nightcallers, which features real encounters sent in by viewers. You can find all of this and more at nightcallersproductions.com. All right, well, thanks for hanging out with us this week. We're going to be talking about the cryptozoology-themed news, ending the week of Saturday, May 8th, 2021. Of course, I've got a few people with me up on stage. I've got Greg from All the Weird. I've got Kenzie from the Crypto Chats podcast, and I've got Ashley, and I am calling on Wednesdays, we talk weird. Aha, yes. So, let's get to it, friends, here. So we got a lot of stuff going on. I want to go into a story real quick while I have Kenzie here. Of course, today we have a really cool event going on down in Maryland at the Dragon Distillery, a Snallygaster whiskey tasting event. And this is put on with Sarah as well from the American Snallygaster Museum. Kenzie is there right now. She traveled down from the New England area to hang out with Sarah and to be involved with this event. But Kenzie, do you mind sharing what we've got going on down there right now? If she is available. If not, that is all right. We can swing back.
Were you talking to me?
Yes.
Sorry, I was talking to somebody.
Oh, you're good. Do you have a few minutes to maybe share a little bit about what's going on there? I know it's a very busy place right now.
Yeah, so I'm actually in Frederick, Maryland right now at Dragon Distillery, and currently Sarah actually is working with the distillery. They made a Snallygaster wine, and it's really good. And so there's a whole... Oh, I said wine. It's a whiskey, sorry. I'm a little bit drunk, I'll be very honest with you guys. But it's very good. And there's a Snallygaster museum pop-up exhibit, and there's a bunch of vendors. Jamie Snell is here with his art. We have some leather work. There's a woodworker, and then like a pottery vendor. So there's a lot of cool stuff happening. Sarah and I have been running her museum table, which is really fun. And yeah, it's really cool. It's just, I don't know, there's a lot of cryptids.
That is exciting. How much longer does this go on for today, Kenzie?
So we'll be here until 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. It's currently 2 Eastern Standard Time, so we have another 6 hours. Yeah, so we'll be here all day.
Wow, exciting. That it's so cool to see Sarah start to build up the stuff that she has for the American Snallygaster Museum, and it's the first time that you two have met, and you have your podcast together with Sarah, the Manic Pixie Dream Ghouls. So that is exciting as well.
Yeah, it was really cool because we actually stayed at Sarah's house last night, and she's planning on doing some like exhibits and like cocktail parties and stuff in her house. She lives in like an old historic house in Maryland, and it's beautiful. And we got to see a lot of the like behind the scenes pieces that haven't been shared yet. So it was really awesome. Cool. This is just like honestly like one of the coolest events. This distillery is like medieval themed, so it's like got a nice twist to it. It's really neat.
That is really cool. Thanks for sharing, Kenzie, a eyewitness account of what's going on right now, and hope you can make it through the six remaining hours. That's a long time, but it should be fun. Yeah, pace yourself totally. Oh, funny. As I'm going through the next stories, I do notice my friend Alex is down in the audience. Thanks for hanging out with us, Alex. If you are available to talk, I would invite you to come up on stage. I do want to talk a little bit about the release of Beyond the Trail. Yep, okay. So, Alex Petikoff from
Hey, what's
Petikoff
up, guys?
Media. Nice of you to come on up. Thank you so much, sir. I want to point out that you have your first documentary released with Small Town Monsters. Well, not your first one, but the first in the Trail, Beyond the Trail series, which is very cool. And how has the response been for that so far, Alex?
Yeah, it's been really awesome. We're already at around 11,000 views on just the YouTube channel, just from, I mean, it was posted, what, Thursday? So it's trending really well. I've gotten a lot of good feedback. A lot of people have been telling me their stories in New Hampshire, which is, I always welcome if anyone has any other stories. I mean, that's something that's my favorite part, just seeing people in the comments leaving their stories about having encounters in New Hampshire or even Maine or Vermont. The response has been awesome. Thank you, Jeremiah, for writing up that awesome review as well. A lot of cool stuff. So it's been pretty great so far.
Oh, that's awesome to hear. Yeah, if anyone listening to this has not watched that documentary, it's super, super cool. It's about 40 minutes long, so it's an easy watch and free to watch over on the Small Town Monsters YouTube channel. Great, great stuff. Thank you for sharing that, Alex. Also, another thing I wanted to point out regarding documentaries, if you're an Amazon Prime member, the Big Muddy Monster documentary from Chad Lewis and Friends is free to watch for Amazon Prime members at the time of this taping, May 8th. So, good stuff there. Let's go on to an article that we have from my friend Tobias Wayland, of course, over from SingularFortean.com. And here's a story that he has picked up by way of Manuel Navarrete of UFO Clearinghouse. And the story is shuttle bus driver reports sighting of large humanoid owl with 15 to 20 foot wingspan over O'Hare International Airport. I'm going to read a little bit here. Here's the report. So I work as a shuttle bus driver at O'Hare. I was working on April 21st, 2021. This is the initial report. Near the new parking terminal near Zemke Road at about 6 p.m., I was staged and had wandered away from my bus to take a smoke break when I saw a large owl fly over the top of the building and disappear behind the parking garage. It must have been at least 30 to 40 feet off the ground. When I saw it fly over, it made no sound. It looked like a giant black thing with very large wings. I saw it for all of 2 to 3 seconds. But it's a very interesting report. And if you want to, read more about these types of sightings, definitely Tobias's website is a great resource for that. But panel, any thoughts about that story about seeing large humanoid owls over at the Chicago O'Hare Airport?
I mean, I'm not really surprised, to be
Mm-hmm.
honest with you.
Yeah.
It's happening so often. One thing that I find, being, seeing as that's kind of my specialty there is that, you get that one sighting, right, that was reported. There's probably at least another one that coincides with that sighting. It's just that either they haven't come forward yet or it hasn't been reported to the right people. But yeah, I mean, I expect it anymore.
Oh, sure. And there's an interesting part at the end of this. The witness seemed very hesitant in regards to speaking about his sighting. He stated he was advised by his supervisors that it was a misidentification of a large bird and that he should not speak to anyone else about these sightings. So,
Yeah, that's again, not
yeah,
surprised.
you gotta love that.
Yep.
So, who knows what's going on in the skies over O'Hare? Alex, did you have something to say as well?
Yeah, no, it's just really interesting hearing some of that. I recently had Tobias and Emily Wayland on my live stream, Sasquatch Out of the Shadows live on YouTube, and it was really fun to talk to them. I mean, I'd read Tobias's book before, but I didn't know a whole lot about, and I'd seen him in obviously Terror in the Skies from Seth, and I just didn't know a whole lot about that whole kind of Mothman winged humanoid thing in the Midwest, and it was really interesting to hear more about how Tobias kind of came across some of those reports. So just really, really fascinating to hear some of that. And I don't know. I mean, the flying humanoid stuff, it's pretty interesting for sure.
Oh, for sure. Totally. Totally. Any more thoughts on this, or we will continue with the next stories that I have for the week? In as we go along, if we get to the end, I'll say it now. If we get to the end, and if there's stories I didn't cover from the week, definitely throw those in as well. A Mysterious Universe has a few kind of cool articles this week. They focused on things found in TikTok videos, which is kind of a new resource. There's not a lot of people hitting those up, except for my friend Jeff from Strangeology hits those up. But you can see an article about supposedly skinwalkers captured in Canada. It's kind of interesting. Also, a possible Bigfoot captured on a TikTok video in Oregon. I never know with TikToks; they don't seem like the most reputable source of info. But I mean, it is still video usually taken by someone there. But I'm on the fence about how I feel about TikTok videos as being used for evidence. I don't know.
I agree with that.
Yeah.
Much water on the. I mean, it's the new YouTube anymore. Kind
That's
of.
true.
So, it's not. I don't know. I need backstory and more information to go along with it. You just don't get that much with TikTok, and it's just so easy to make something
Mm-hmm.
that
Oh, sure.
it's hard.
Yeah. Yeah, I agree. But who knows? In 10 years, it could be a different story. We could be talking about TikTok like it's the new newspaper. Who knows what the future will bring, right? An interesting development about the 2021 Trinity Giant Salamander Expedition put on by the International Cryptozoology Museum in Portland, Maine. It's pretty cool. So if you've seen the photo, I put the photo up last week of the banner that has the caricature of Lauren Coleman and of the salamander next to it. You can actually get your own banner. It's a limited edition banner if you do a $200 nonprofit donation towards the Cryptozoology Museum. So you get a limited edition piece of cryptozoology history. You also really get to support the museum and that expedition. So pretty cool there. You can go to, I'll have the link in at BigfootSocietyPodcast.com under Clubhouse. That brings you directly to the donations site there. Actually, I almost skipped over this one. This one is really cool. So we have a Washington Post article that is super legit about, it's a write-up all about, so that the tagline is how a mythical backwoods monster saved a struggling West Virginia glass company. And this is all about Blanco Glass Company and how they're partnering with Liz Pavlovic. It is a super, super well-written article with actual really nice photos of the glass company factory. You're really, if you haven't read it yet, and I know it's been passed around all week, but you definitely got to check this one out. I'll have the link. But the one cool thing that I learned from this article that I didn't know is it's really kind of hidden down at the end. I did not know that Blanco made the red eyes for the Mothman statue. That's kind of cool. Puts a whole new spin on it. But so definitely you'll want to check that out. Also, there's kind of a little tidbit where it sounds like in the future, Blanco might make a piece honoring Mothman, which would be really cool. I mean, imagine if it was like the statue itself. Holy mackerel. Whew, those would sell out pretty quick. Going on, there's a few other interesting media releases here. We've got, I believe this is on Netflix. There's a new mockumentary. So it's a documentary, but also it's comedy. It's called 15 Things You Didn't Know About Bigfoot, and it's about a journalist vlogger who is assigned to produce a story about the search for the legendary Sasquatch in Appalachia. Ends up being partnered up with an oddball, intense cryptozoologist. And hilarity ensues, and they run afoul of rural drug smugglers. So pretty timely there with the whole Sasquatch release on Hulu. So someone who has Netflix, you'll have to let me know how that turns out if you watch that video. That's that movie that's up there. Also, speaking of Sasquatch on Hulu, if you listen to Joe Rogan, there is a extremely long interview with the journalist from the documentary Sasquatch, David Holthouse. I have not listen to that because I don't have 3.5 hours to listen to podcasts right now. But if you want to know more, I'm sure there's some info about the documentary that wasn't in the documentary. Check that out. Let me know what you thought. There's also an article that I found right at the very end, and it's a reminder about what's called the Lake Pepin monster. And this is Lake Pepin is bordered by Wisconsin on one side, Minnesota on the other. So kind of a cool write-up. And actually, it's a reminder that there's another cryptid that's being offered, a town that's offering a huge reward if you can prove that the name Pepe exists. It looks like there's actually a $50,000 reward, and this has been going on for about 7 years now, I believe. There's also a really good interview with Chad Lewis. You may know him from the Van Meter Visitor book, of course, but a really good interview with him as well. Those are the stories that I had for the week of May 8th, 2021. Any other stories or articles or anecdotes that anyone had up on stage with me? You're welcome to offer those up right now.
Yeah, I've got one.
All right.
We actually we covered this in our latest episode of the podcast, but I'm still perplexed. So a couple of weeks ago, I guess it's sort of old news, but not. This village in Bolivia reported that a UFO landed there, and out of the UFO came what they described as a chupacabra. Now, everybody in this village says that they saw this thing. There are pictures and video of the craft in the sky. People were doing drawings and all that good stuff. A ufologist there says that the police and local military refuse to investigate it because they say it's mass hysteria. So it's very interesting. I'm really surprised that it's not really been reported on much. I mean, it's a little difficult to find like good articles on it. But I just thought that, the chupacabra with the UFO ties was really interesting because, there's obviously some kind of some history there with that. So I just wanted to mention it.
Oh, that's amazing. Do you mind, do you have an article or resource about that at all?
Yeah, I will.
Right.
I'll link it to you.
Yeah, you can put it in Discord or whatever. That'd be awesome. Thank you.
Sure.
Greg, I saw you unmute as well.
Yeah, I just watching the feeds and stuff. I saw Jeremy Corbell posted about it. The possible fungus growth found on Mars. That's kind of intriguing. Although I did see another post that just outright said it was fake news. So who knows in this field. We did, of course, have the pyramid UFOs confirmed by the Pentagon that they were real images. And we are ticking down to disclosure at the end of June, I believe. So hoping to see some good UFO alien news come out from that.
Oh, yeah, totally. And it's like, there's the whole UFO news thing. Like that is just there's some crazy stuff going on right now. And I know our main focus on cryptozoology, but if you care about that, you're probably going to care about UFOs. So definitely be aware that stuff is coming down the pipeline. That's pretty crazy. Also, be aware that there's a huge thing that's dropping out of the sky today. It's like a 10-foot story object from a rocket launch that was mistakenly launched up by China. That's going to fall somewhere in the world right now. So, keep your eyes to the skies. Hopefully that lands in they're thinking maybe the ocean or the Gobi Desert, but it's a pretty huge, massive object that could cause a lot of damage. So, hey, just keep your eyes to the skies.
21 ton.
Yeah, it's a big boy.
Massive.
Oh my goodness. Yeah, good stuff. Last call if anyone has any other stories, any other cryptozoology related stories to share from the week of May 8th, 2021. If not, thanks for hanging out and making this a part of your Saturday. We'll see you next week. And see what the next week brings regarding cryptozoology. Kenzie, she's gone, but Kenzie, hopefully you be safe in the next 6 hours and definitely continue to pace yourself. And hopefully that that little festival goes well there with the snallygaster. But I'm going to go ahead and shut down the room. All thanks for hanging out with me tonight, this afternoon, and have a great rest of your weekend.